Today's Sunday, February 19th, 2023, and I'm still reading from Isaiah chapter 21. Just working our way through Isaiah one chapter at a time, and it seems slow, but here we are, Isaiah chapter 21 already. So that's kind of part of why I haven't skipped it up to 2 chapters a day, just because I feel like at the way that the days fly by, it's fine. Progress is still being made. So maybe in the future I will do more reading, but for now, this is fine. This feels relaxing for me. Still feels doable. And I'm still interested. Still something to look forward to every day. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna read, and if I have anything to say, I'll mention it. But today just seems like kind of a quiet day, for me at least. So here's Isaiah chapter 21. So more burdens, but this time not naming specifically the place right away. The burden of the desert of the sea. As whirlwinds in the south pass through, so it cometh from the desert, from a terrible land. A grievous vision is declared unto me. The treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously, and the spoiler spoileth. Go up, O Elam, besiege, O Media. All the sign thereof have I made to seize. Therefore are my loins filled with pain. Pangs have taken hold upon me, as the pangs of a woman that travaileth. I was bowed down at the hearing of it. I was dismayed at the seeing of it. My heart panted. Fearfulness affrighted me. The night of my pleasure hath he turned into fear unto me. Prepare the table. Watch in the watchtower. Eat, drink. Arise, ye princes, and anoint the shield. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, Go, set a watchman, let him declare what he seeth. And he saw a chariot with a couple of horsemen, a chariot of asses and a chariot of camels. And he hearkened diligently, with much heed. And he cried, A lion. My Lord, I stand continually upon the watchtower in the daytime, and I am set in my ward whole nights. And behold, here cometh a chariot of men, with a couple of horsemen. And he answered and said, Babylon is fallen, and all the graven images of her gods he hath broken unto the ground. O my threshing, and the corn of my floor, that which I have heard of the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, have I declared unto you. The burden of Dumah, he called to me out of Seir, Watchman, what of the night? Watchman, what of the night? The watchman said, The morning cometh, and also the night. If ye will inquire, inquire ye. Return, come. The burden of Arabia, in the forest of Arabia shall ye lodge, O ye traveling companies of Dedanim. The inhabitants of the land of Temah brought water to him that was thirsty. They prevented with their bread him that fled. For they fled from the swords, from the drawn sword, and from the bent bow, and from the grievousness of war. For thus hath the Lord said unto me, Within a year, according to the years of an hireling, and all the glory of Kedar shall fail. And the residue of the number of archers, the mighty men of the children of Kedar, shall be diminished, for the Lord God of Israel hath spoken it. Okay, so really interesting. He's just continually prophesizing against people. Still some very poetic language and a lot of that repetition. I know, isn't there, this language gets repeated elsewhere. The treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously. I feel like there's a part of the Bible where that gets repeated, where somebody just repeats that. The treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously. Oh, the treacherous dealer dealeth treacherously. I thought there was somewhere in the Bible that repeated that thing. That statement. So, the burden of the desert of the sea. I'm not entirely sure. The whirlwinds of the south kind of reminds me of the whirlwinds of the south pass through. That's like kind of, it just reminds me of America, how they tell us something about like the winds from the north coming and mixing from the winds from the south and creating all the whirlwinds and places like Kansas. What else? A lot of mention of watchmen, capital W watchmen. And it does mention a lot of war ideas, and this is just, I'm just bringing this up because it's something that I've been talking with people in the comments, and how armies were, and still today, measured in men. Okay, today they let women in the army and stuff, but we still think of manpower as being like a unit of soldier for wars, and how that was a real big threat, everyday real threat that people were dealing with in these times, that they could be attacked at any moment. And these people were living in walled cities and building these fortified walled cities to live in, because it was a very real threat of being attacked by somebody. And it could just be some war machine, some bloodthirsty war machine tribe that's out there conquering and conquering and conquering, and that's just the way that they are. So just a very different time that these people were living in. And to get to the point about what I've been discussing with people earlier, is just the idea of times past where man's scarcity was a thing, where there probably were plenty of times in the past where all the men were wiped out, or a lot of men were wiped out through warfare, and just the societal implications of that. There's times in the Bible where they talk about there being 7 women to cleave onto one man, and a man being more precious than gold of Ophir, and things like, where does the whole idea for a dowry come up? I've just thought about that before, and I thought, maybe the whole idea of a dowry is that there were times where it was from a time of male scarcity, and the women had to have something to offer. A man wasn't just going to take a woman. Women would go up to men and be like, please be my husband, please be my husband. And they're like, okay, well, what are you going to give me for it? Why would I take you in as another wife? Like, you better be giving me something to offer for it, just because there was such high demand for men. And also the whole polygamy thing too. I don't think that it's natural, and I think that it is adultery, polygamy. But I think that it probably came out of male scarcity, where women were willing to, they needed a husband, and so they were willing to be with a man who already had wives. And I think that could be from male scarcity. It reminds me of today too, the type of men today that do polygamy, and the type of women that are into that sort of thing. Today there still is a sort of male scarcity, but it's a male scarcity for a certain type of man. And women today, they see these certain type of man, and they think that it's worth it, I guess, to give up monogamy to be with that person. And of course I don't agree with it, and I think it's sinful, but I think that maybe it comes out of this male scarcity idea, both dowries and polygamy, because I don't think that's how it's supposed to be. I think in the beginning God made Adam and Eve, and I really support monogamy, and I think that's the way that God intended for it. But things happen for reasons sometimes, so I think that's a big part of where that culture comes out of, is that men were slaughtered very often in times past, and many of the women were probably allowed to survive, but they had to be integrated into the new society. All right, well, that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed. God bless everyone.